5 things I wish I knew before moving to Singapore. I moved to Singapore from Zurich 1 year ago, and there are some things I wish someone told me earlier. This video is not only for those who want to move here, but also for those who want to visit the city and are planning a trip. Let's get right started. Number 1, Singapore is a fine city. And I'm coming from a place where everything is in order and there are very strict rules as well, but Singapore takes it to the next level. There are some crazy rules you really need to be aware of. For example, jaywalking can be fined. There is a very big law for chewing gums that can cost you up to $10,000 if you import and sell chewing gum here. It can even bring you into jail. Another crazy one is feeding a pigeon. That's $10,000 if you get caught. Then it's not allowed to feed monkeys. They're all everywhere when you go on a hike, so that costs you up to $5,000. Also, littering is fined from $300 up to, I think, $1,000. So you better don't put your rubbish on the floor. There are trash bins everywhere, so it shouldn't be a problem, but just be aware that there are cameras everywhere, so yeah, be aware of that. Another crazy regulation is that durian is forbidden to take with you on MRT or buses, public transport in general. So durian is a fruit here in Singapore and it has such a strong smell. People in Europe don't really know durian, you can't find it in Europe, but it costs you up to $500 if you take it into the bus or MRT with you. I personally really love durian, but it's either you hate it or you love it because it has a really strong taste. Another form of punishment is caning, and that's a form of punishment that is still allowed in Singapore. Caning is a form of punishment where people get hit with a cane, usually on their bare buttock, and it's still legal in Singapore. And it's carried out after severe offense like vandalism or illegal immigration. Caning is legal in Singapore and is carried out in a controlled and supervised environment. It's also carried out when you do drug trafficking. So yeah, you better don't do that. Something else that was new to me is that they do some sort of public shaming. So they have these very big boards where they put on the street in front of malls or just like on Orchard Road where it's visibly seen for everyone, where they say crime alert, and then basically they call out people, how many thieves that have been caught or how many arrests they made on that day. So I think this really leaves an impact on people because they don't want to be on that board. The good side of all these fines is that Singapore is the safest place in the world. You can leave your bag unattended and it won't get stolen. There is no time of the day where women have to feel insecure. So that's a very big pro of all these fines. Number 2, Singapore is not that expensive. Singapore has a reputation of being the most expensive city in the world, but living here, I can really say that Singapore can be quite affordable. You have such cheap options for food. For Singaporean, there is subsidies for healthcare. There is HDB, the Housing Development Board, which subsidizes affordable housing for Singaporeans. There is MRT is very affordable. So the daily life can be very affordable. You don't have to go to the fanciest grocery store and buy Australian apples for $2. There's wet markets where you can get fresh and cheap vegetables and fruits, even fish and meat. So if you make the right option, Singapore is not that expensive. Number 3, Singapore is not boring. In Europe, a lot of people say that Singapore is boring and doesn't have lots to offer. This really annoys me when people tell me this because there's literally so much to explore. They have a lot of festivals like Mid-Autumn Festival, Chinese New Year, where there are parades, there's so much events going on. There is fireworks and decorations everywhere. It's so much to explore and to learn about different cultures. Then there are very big events happening like the Formula night race. It's the first night race in Asia. There are so many food festivals. There is changing exhibitions going on. There are so many museums. So I don't know what people do when they say Singapore is boring. Number 4, Singapore is the best place if you want to travel. There are so many different countries just within 1 or 2 hours by flight, or you can even stay in Singapore and discover so many new places. There are Pulau Ubin, it's like a small island, around 15 minutes by ferry. There's Lazarus Island, there's St. John's Island. You can reach these by a 30-minute maximum ferry ride. And if you want to go to Indonesia by ferry, that's 45 minutes away. So it's even for a day trip or like a short weekend getaway, it's a perfect place to travel. And then last but not least is air conditioning. So I was not expecting to be cold every time I enter a mall, whether it's in a cab or a shopping mall or even at the hairdresser. I always have to bring a jacket with me because they literally cool down to 20 degrees sometimes, and outside is around 30 degrees. So if I go to maybe, I don't know, get a manicure or the hairdresser, I always bring a jacket. Or sometimes even at restaurants after 2 hours, I'm getting really cold. So I was not expecting to feel that cold sometimes. Yes, that was it. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Also, I share lots about my daily life, about where I eat, some tips and tricks to get around Singapore on my Instagram, which is Swizzyinsg. And if you like this video, please give it a like because it really helps my channel. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.